Good morning. We have here a group of teachers from Escuela Internacional San Pedrana, third grade team especially, which are known and we've been seen through the last year wearing this shirt. They were a very close team. And what we noticed as we acquired the math scores from fall, we noticed significant numbers have met the growth that they expected, and numbers of 100 students were only 12 to 13 students from 100 were being lower than the mean or where we wanted them at that level. And that's a discussion we want to have today, because the superpower, this super great team met some goals that are worth sharing and worth multiplying and worth adapting. So we have them here: Zaira Rodriguez, Patty Velasquez, Amy Molnar Redford, and Ms. Jenny Marquez and our group of coaches plus our superintendent today. So we'll be discussing about what they have done and what they have seen. They have the scores in front of them. And we want to start by the first question. What are some strategies we could have affected the results?
Before Amy talks to you about the strategies that we use in our classroom, I would like to say that when our interest is aroused on something, whether it is a hobby or whether it is a subject, we enjoy working hard in it.
So giving your best.
Giving our best, exactly. Yeah.
I'll just talk about a few things that we do in our kind of our core subjects, which is kind of our math and our language. Starting with math, one of the biggest changes I think is that most of our lessons are hands-on or investigative. Even if the whole lesson isn't an investigation, there's some element of it that is. And I think that's really helped our kids to, instead of just expecting to, all right, the teacher's going to show us and then we're going to practice it, our kids kind of now expect that we're going to make them think and we're not just going to give them all the answers. So I think those two things, the hands-on and the more of a learn through trial, have really had an influence on our kids and their abilities to problem solve and their abilities to critical think and those types of things.
Yeah, we're also able to help our students through working in small groups in the classroom. We have implemented or we're trying to work with the Daily 5, which gives students like strategies to learn how to read individually for a certain amount of time, or how to work with the spelling words and apply them. So it kind of gives students time to work independently, and we can also approach and work with the ones that need more help in different areas, not only in language, but also we can use it in science and in all subjects.
How was data and assessments used through the year? What was your exposure to them, and what methods or strategies did you implement?
So again, speaking about math, we would get together as a team to, before we gave an assessment, we would talk about it, we would see if we thought our kids were able to do it, and then after we gave the assessment, we would get back together and share how our kids did and come up with a common way to grade it and everything, just to make sure we were all on the same page. But then afterwards, we would look at the data and say, okay, so which of our kids got it? How can we enrich them? Which of our kids didn't get it? How can we remediate so that we don't just move on and leave those kids behind? So those kinds of conversations, and we're starting to have those kinds of conversations in all subject areas, but it kind of started in math thanks to our wonderful math coach, Anthony, kind of prompting us to do it, but then we realized what a big difference it makes in our thinking and also the students' learning.
You mentioned something about how you see assessments and how you see them now, and also a form that was created by Anthony to help. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I guess I used to think of assessments as the stopping point, and now I see assessments more as just another step in the progress, the overall progress.
Okay. That's what I would see. You come also, Patty, to my office all the time with that notebook. Can you tell us about that notebook?
Well, I have my little special notebook, which is like my school Bible, because in there I keep track of my students' success, math scores. I write down their math scores, and that way I can focus on that. And whenever we're studying a skill, I can see where my students are failing or are low, so I can work with those students. In there I write down the websites that I can find, and when I have to share with my coworkers, I grab my little notebook.
You mentioned that you would find websites for these specific 5
Yeah.
kids who did this.
Exactly.
Because it was by groups and charts, I remember that. So it did work. How important is teamwork?
We believe that teacher-to-teacher communication is really, really essential to success as a teacher. So we're a happy team. We're a happy team, and you need to make that choice every day. When you come to work, you need to make that choice. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to demonstrate a positive attitude, and that's what we do. Okay, we always demonstrate a positive attitude, no matter what the situation is, and we try to avoid gossiping in our team. We believe that gossip will tear apart our team and the staff faster than anything else.
I think it's important what you said, that it is a choice you have to make when you come to the team meeting, because things are always being thrown at us, as you know, in every school, things are constantly being thrown at you, and you have to kind of just make that choice, like, well, we can, you
I
know.
think this week we were mentioning, right, that it's very important, the attitude that we have toward everything. And also in our team, like sometimes we feel confident sharing ideas or asking questions, something we don't understand, we're able to share it and discuss it as a team. So that gives us a little bit more.
We're open-minded.
Well, something that I noticed from them, and I wanted to hear from your point of view, is that you did not only ask questions, you asked hard questions. You did. You asked the hard questions, and not with the negativity, but with ways into why are we doing this, how are we going to do it, show me, and let's talk about it. So that was great. It was not seen as a brought negatively, but as a moment of growth. What do you think about that? What did you notice?
One of the things that I noticed, and actually I didn't work as much with the 3rd grade team, not in reading or writing last year, but one of the things, because I do have communication with Patty, with Zaida, with Chad, was the fact that they were very united in, like, on the same page. And like Patty just said, if we keep track of what we're doing, but they're all doing that, that makes a huge difference for the whole group of kids. Because we do have certain, in other team groups, that someone is doing such great things, but maybe the communication is not in the same way. The sharing and the positive wanting to do it from the whole team, I think that makes most of the difference. Because they were on the same page, following the same track, so all the kids in all across the 5 sections were getting the same opportunities, and they were being reached out in the same ways. Not exactly the same way, but with the same techniques, all had the same opportunities.
What did you notice, Anthony?
I noticed a few of the same things that Patty noticed, because when I was going and observed the math lessons, I was exactly the same thing. We have to make sure we're all doing the same way. So when Andy mentioned that they got together like 4 units, they talked strategies, they team plans, they all implemented those. So I was like, we're on the same page about this is what needs to be done, we believe in it, let's do it as a team, and we actually did. So that was one of the things. And I also want to ask, what was the role that the team played, and what you used to do, and how you used to teach, and the way you teach it?
We're able to target anything that we want to, and also it's an opportunity to get more ideas from others. We're able to analyze them. It's easier easier that way, I think, right?
And I think it allows us to kind of specialize a little bit, which I know I really enjoy, kind of honing in on one area and working to make that area really well. And then we all do that in our subjects, and so we benefit from each other's work. And one other thing I want to say is that the team would always go the extra mile. Like sometimes I would present some math plans and I would feel bad, like, oh my god, they're gonna have to prepare this game and this manipulative, and they gotta get cups ready for this day, and they gotta get fraction strips ready for this day. And sometimes I would feel really bad, but they always did it. You know, it would be easy to throw those out and just do a book lesson, but they did the extra. Everyone always went the extra step.
So if we could put everything into one sentence, or what do we say about the success of this team? You say passion. What would you say, Anthony?
I say belief systems. They all believe in this is the right way to teach kids. This is necessary to happen.
So belief systems. What about you?
I would say that the unity is like walking all towards the same goal, following the same beliefs.
So walking to the same goals all together. Denise?
I would say following like a systematic process of doing things. You know, like it's not, yes, you need the passion, you need the commitment, but they also have an order in which they do things. You know, like they start with the big things, they look at the standards, what does this mean? What does this mean for assessment? What does this mean for the best activities, you know, like that we can do to help the students get to that. So I know that there's a thought process there that they follow and they stick to it. That works.
I think we have the right tools also. We were mentioning that students, we try to give them like the right tools in order to learn and apply them. But I think we also have like the right tools whenever we feel like lost, for example. I always try to reach Anthony or Denise whenever I feel like my lesson plans or my teaching needs a little bit of help. So I think also having the right tools.
The
rely on.
support. The support. Coaches, administrators, rules.
I also think leadership was a big element last year, because we did have a really positive team leader who understood our struggles and our frustrations, but he also tried to implement a lot of things. Like, for example, and this was Chad's idea, to have us all go and observe each other a couple different times over the course of the year to give each other feedback. And so things like that, and then there would be other times where he'd bring in articles and we'd all discuss them. And so I think having a positive leader who not just gets the work done, but really tries to take it to the next level is important as well.
I think so. And as I hear everyone, all those were important components. Even though you didn't notice, but it was a very structured. You used the cycles. You collected the data. You analyzed the data. You developed goals. You developed the structure. It was all there with the most important thing, which is positivism. So definitely, as I said, we're going to close. You lived to your shirt. Well done, third graders. Thank you.